Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coco McMillan Show. You may have seen her in Morocco, New York City, Los Angeles, California, Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, Las Vegas, Nevada. One of the background singers for Mickey Howard and the late, great Gerald Levert. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, the beautiful, the wonderful, the spectacular, Miss Coco McMillan.
I never knew a love like Jesus, Jesus. I never knew a love like Jesus. Oh, hey guys, happy Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, I was just vibing with that new in front song, Love Like This. But I was saying, I never knew a love like Jesus. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope and pray that you are enjoying your day. I am your girl, Coco McMillan, the host of the Coco McMillan Show, where we make it happen. I am so grateful and so thankful that you are joining me on this special day, Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful that for this day and season that God has allowed for my show to actually air on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, how cool is that? That gives me a chance to say, God, I thank you, and just thank you for everything that He has done for me, that He's doing for me, that He's even doing for you. So I just want to thank you, and I appreciate you for joining me, inviting me into your home on Thanksgiving. So please take this time and share this broadcast with your friends and your family. We're going to have something exciting for you today. We're not going to be before you today long because of Thanksgiving, but I do have a special guest for you. And I wanted to jump on just to say that I love you guys and I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful for this day. So if you haven't told anyone today that you love them, please take the time to do it now. So go ahead and share the broadcast. Let me know in the chat what city that you are watching from. We want to acknowledge your city. I know the last couple of months we've been doing this, and I know New York, Brooklyn, New York has been in the house, New Jersey, Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Delaware, Cincinnati, Morocco, Atlanta, Texas, and California. So thank you guys all for watching. So please continue to share, tune in, and let's kind of learn this thing together. All right, let's do this thing together. We want to do it together. So did you have some good food today? Well, I know I did. And I know a lot of you probably still watching football. And you say, Coco, what I'm not going to do is turn the football game off. But I know the Cowboys are going to be playing. Pastor, I feel you on that. My pastor is a Cowboy fan. So I know that game is probably still going on. I think we got the Saints that's playing tonight. So all the football lovers, shout out to you. I hope your team wins. But again, we just want to say today how grateful we are for this Thanksgiving. The Coco McMillan Show. This is an amazing show that's bringing really cool things to the talk show circuit, like featuring the national and local musicians and recording artists. You know, this platform is designed to help business owners, other artists, social media organizations, physical and mental health awareness. So this show allows the guests to come on to discuss their career, their goals, their product, their career challenges, new opportunities, awareness. So we want you to bring your knowledge and your expertise to the show. We believe in sharing. We believe in promoting. We believe in blessing you through your journey as millions of souls. We be blessed by your testimony. And see, you don't even realize, your testimony can really bless someone. So please come on the show and share it with us. Some of the things that you went through, so someone else don't have to go through those same things. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. If you want to be on the show, please contact me at Coco McMillan Music at gmail.com. Again, it's Coco McMillan Music at gmail.com. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on Instagram at Sean Coco McMillan or Coco McMillan. I'm easy to find, so just put in Coco. You'll see me. We are now streaming on the IBM Network Live. We're streaming on Facebook Live. We're streaming on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So God is doing some amazing, amazing things. We want you to continue to sow and to share and to support the broadcast. We want to do some amazing things. And of course, it takes funding. So with your help, we can keep this going. So any donation, doesn't matter about the amount. So please, let's just support. The Cash App is $Sean McMillan. So support. We're going to be doing some great things. We also support other organizations. We have the Black Business Expo Olympia, ran by Dr. Eric Kelly, which is the founder of the Black Business Expo Olympia. And he's also the gentleman that had the opportunity to give to me this platform to talk to you. So again, it's Thanksgiving Day. I'm grateful and thankful for Dr. Kelly for allowing me to have this platform to share with you my journey, my story to you. So thank you, Dr. Kelly. And so today, Thanksgiving, I hope you ate well. Why don't you put in the chat too, some of the cool dishes that you had, your desserts, or because there's so many things. It's not that old traditional anymore where you have your turkey and your ham. I know people, they're doing chitlins, they're doing salmon, they're doing pastas, all types of things. Can you tell I'm full? I had a chance to be with my family and friends, and I don't even remember how many houses I went to eat, but all I know, it was good. But I did thank them. So don't forget, if you go into someone's house to eat and you're taking a plate, please make sure that you ask for the plate first and thank them. Because again, this day is the day of Thanksgiving. And what does the Bible say about Thanksgiving? What does it say about Thanksgiving? In Thessalonians 5:16-18, it says, be joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Now, did you catch that? It said, give thanks in all circumstances. That means good or bad. That means when things are going well, things are going for you, got money in the bank, you doing things, and get these phone calls, your shows are going well, you still give God glory and thanks. When it's bad, I don't care how hard it seems. I don't care if tears are running down your face. Whatever that challenge in that situation is, still give God thanks, because what you got to understand, that he's working in your favor behind the scenes. He's working in your favor as the tears are coming down. He's working in your favor while you're trying to figure out how you're going to get something done. So in all circumstances, give thanks no matter what. And I say this from experience. I've been there where I couldn't, I just didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like it, but I had to realize, wait, he is the center of my joy. He's my strength. So no matter what this situation is, trouble don't last always. No matter how hurt you are, or if someone hurt you, still give thanks to God and you pray for that situation. You understand? So it doesn't matter. In all circumstances, give thanks. And today I want to challenge you, to those that have been hurt, to forgive and let it go and let God work in your favor in your life. For those that need to tell someone, to ask for forgiveness, go ahead and make today that day that you do that. So you'll be starting off right. The holidays, we have Christmas that's coming up, and we're going into a new year. This season is very important because of what we went through the last 2 years. There's a lot of people that's sitting at the dinner table or have sat at the dinner table and someone wasn't there that was there last year. So we lost a lot of loved ones. So while we have a chance, while we have the activity of our limbs, while we have the breath to breathe and the mouth to talk and our hands and our ears and our eyes, show gratitude to those people, even those that hurt you. Show gratitude, give thanks, ask for forgiveness, love, so that peace will be in your heart, so that you can move forward and start the year off like God wants you to. Because he forgave you, why you can't forgive someone else? Hi, that's my nugget for you today. Give thanks to God, first of all, and then love on your family and your friends. Can you do that for me? And while you're there thinking about this thing, I want you to put in the chat what Thanksgiving means to you. We'll appreciate that. Just go ahead and put it in the chat what Thanksgiving means to you. And again, I'm grateful for everything that God is doing in my life. And I know that he's doing things in your life, even though you don't see it. He's doing it. And I'm grateful for the guests that I'm going to bring on in just a few minutes. I had a chance to meet this young man last year. Well, I think in January will be a year. Although we have a plethora of mutual friends, but going back to, paying it forward, Dr. Kelly, has given me this platform to talk with you. I had a chance to meet Mark. Mark had a chance to meet other people. And so it's just a full circle. Had no idea that he was going to be co-producing this show. So I'm so grateful for what he has done, for me working behind the scenes on the Coco McMillan show. He has his own radio show that he does. He works for the IBM Network TV. He works and helps the Black Business Expo Olympia. He's the producer of several other shows that's streaming on the network, that's streaming on LinkedIn. He's always on Clubhouse. He's a community leader, activist. He knows a lot of people and connect with a lot of people. He's a great guy to get to know. So he's going to come with us and join me today. We're going to talk to you for a few minutes, and he's going to talk about his journey and what he does, and also what are some of the things that he's grateful for. So if you would help me welcome, and you could put out in the chat, hey, Mark, if you help me welcome Mark Lee to the set, he's going to come on with me. Just come on, let me help him. Yay, there he is.
There I am. How are y'all doing? Glad to be here with Coco. Glad to be here with her in the front of the cameras instead of behind the cameras doing all that great production work. And like you said, I do several shows, whether it's Maxine or whether it's Barbara H. Smith or a number of the other shows that we have here on the platform. Billy Graham, even my good friend Jachovi, does a show around the gaming industry and about video games and all of that. And I was also doing a show about fantasy football. Unfortunately, Terry's been busy, so hopefully we'll get Terry Good back on, because I've been having to maintain that ship myself. And you're talking about football. It is football time, and my brother's over here. He was catching his Bears play earlier because he's a definite Bears fan.
He's a Bears fan? Okay.
Yeah, he's a big time Bears fan. I don't know how he became a Bears fan when I'm a Vikings fan, and definitely love my Vikings fan for a number of years. So we go back and forth. But he also got me into fantasy football. So I think his team is actually doing better than mine, even though both of us will be playing in something called the Sucker Bowl, meaning that we will not be going for the big money or the title. All the losers get together and they get to play each other and hopefully win a title as a winner of the Sucker Bowl. But, if you win that, you do get a little bit of money. You just don't get the big money and all of that. It's still a chance as the consolation tournament and all of that. And, one of the things that I'm part of, which you do not know, they're not aware of, and a lot of our audience members aren't aware of as well, even though I've had some of them as guests on my show, is I am also a member of a puppet troupe. So that's some of the things that you see me going around in the house. Sometimes you see my picture, and sometimes you see me dressed in a cartoon character and everything, and that is the Funky Eye Puppets.
Puppet. Okay.
IPC. It's the Funky Eye Puppets. It's the first audio cartoon kind of troupe and everything, and we've got all kinds of skits and things that we do on a regular basis. Lately we've been doing them in the Music Bazaar, but we may be coming to another space near you very shortly. And there's big plans, everything from cartoons to they've definitely already got NFTs to possibly even some movies, and some other things are in the plan. As the founder of that, IPC used to work with George Lucas. So he actually used to work with the whole, that whole sci-fi enterprise and all of that. So he's very much a part of that landscape. So he knows that landscape quite well. And there's been some amazing people. One of them will surprise you. There's a young lady named Robbie Kay, and she just got nominated for a Grammy because she's on a record. It's a children's record that also features two of our local artists, Reese Palmer and Pierce Freelon. And I know that you've heard both of those names, but they got nominated for a Grammy for a children's album that they just put out. So Robbie Kay, I believe, is in the West Coast or something like that, but she was one of them. There's like artists that are doing children's music from all over, I won't say all over the world. It might even be all over the country, but they definitely got nominated. And I also understand from looking at Instagram that Nina Freelon, who is, of course, Pierce's mom, got nominated for one as well. So once again, and I'm sure Shirley probably got nominated, but once again, North Carolina is being represented in the Grammy categories. We are definitely represented and are getting some representation, and we'll see whether we can bring some prizes, whether that's in gospel, whether that's in hip hop, whether that's in children's music, or whether that's in a number of the other categories that are out there. But it'll be truly fantastic, and hopefully we will have that chance to go and everything. And last but not least, because I know you got questions about my background and everything, but I was ready to tell you, I have definitely been like you. I've been stuffing myself. Mom bought this big turkey. I think it's like around 14 pounds and everything. So I have definitely been stuffing myself, stuffing myself in the whole home environment and everything. And it has just been fantastic, stuffing yourself with all of that great food and all of
Yes.
that. So, it's just truly amazing when you have that food and you just get to stuff yourself. My nephews are running around here. They're playing video games, but they're also hanging out as they are 12 and 13 as of this past August and
Wow.
everything. But definitely we've got greens. We've got, definitely the big turkey. We've got all kinds of other dishes. And I'm just sitting here going like, one of the things I know about Mom, and I'm looking forward to it, is that when we get ready to leave on the Thanksgiving and we get ready to come back, and we'll either be on Thanksgiving night or possibly on a Friday morning or whatever. But when we come back, I know Mom, she's going to load up a whole lot of leftovers. We'll have a bag full of leftovers. And
Yes.
she might even clean out her pantry because she's done that a couple of times for me as well. She'd be like, hey, Mark, I've got this. I don't really eat these soups. Why don't you take about 5 or 6 of them? So you might also clean out the pantry. So, we're going to have that mom grocery shopping because, when you go to Mom's, and I know you probably even do that as well, Coco, we do this thing called Mom's grocery shopping. So it's kind of like where Mom gives you the groceries of the leftovers, but she also lets you get some of the groceries that you have as well. And I know
exactly.
And Mom might even be bringing some, well, not any of my clothes, because, those are ladies' clothes that she's got, but she might still have some clothes laying around that I used to have back when I was at the house that I may re-kidnap or whatever and things of that nature, or some books, because sometimes that also comes back with you. But I do know that a friend of mine is started an autism thrift store, and she's in Raleigh and everything, but she started a thrift store, and the main purpose is to help people that are autistic and for them to have jobs and things of that nature and things along those lines. So Mom had promised that she would give, because she was a big time executive involved in politics, involved in philanthropy, involved in a number of things before she retired, that she would let me grab some of those clothes to bring to Miss Crystal. So I'm going to mention that to Mom. And who knows, there might even be a bag full of ladies wear as well that will then eventually go to that store that Crystal has. I believe it's called Real Life Works, and it is there in the Raleigh area.
Okay, that's awesome, because I know a lot of people do that. They're given, whether it's clothes, whether it's food, or if they gave even before, to prepare them with turkeys and things like that. So that, I think that'd be great. And another thing you said about fixing the food to go, that's what my question is. Or while we on the food thing, why do we tend to go to different houses? We leave one house, we go to the other house. I done went to my mom's, my aunts, my cousins to just be getting food from each. Why do we do that?
We do that. We get food from each house. There might be a certain dish that somebody likes that you like better that is fixed there. I've had relatives that were real good. They might have a certain kind of potato salad that you really liked, or a certain pie that you really like. So we do go from house to house. We don't do it as much now because one of the houses that we used to visit was actually my aunt and uncle, and they have passed on. But that doesn't mean that we don't still do that house hopping. And I also know that sometimes people hop to our house, because I know that a lot of times my cousin might pop in, my cousin Jonathan, and then some of my other cousins and relatives might pop into the house because Mom's definitely going to fix more than she needs, because like I said, it's totally, in terms of the ones going up there and the ones that are here this time, it is a total of 5 of us. So yeah, Mom, me, Malik, and my 2 nephews. So that is 5 total and everything. But the other thing that we do sometimes is we wind up having separate individual events because of the way that relationships are and things of that nature. So I do know that my brother's significant other is up in, I want to say Virginia or something like that, with some of her family and friends and everything like that. But I've got some work commitments on Friday and Saturday, and definitely over the weekend and things of that nature. So he will bring me back to Durham and everything, but then he might be going back up to Rocky Mount, which is where Mom is at, because he might be going back up there because he might be catching up with his lady friend and her 2 kids, or as I like to call them, the Junior Brady Bunch, because even though they're not actually married, it's like Malik and his 2 kids and Miss Celia and her 2 kids, as a blended family and all of that. But they get along really well. They are amazingly good and everything. Actually, Effie, who is her oldest daughter, is a sophomore in college, and then Jack is I want to say he's in high school or something along those lines. But they get along really well with my two nephews, and they definitely treat each other just like brothers and sisters would treat each other in general. I'm
Yeah.
always glad to see your sister usually in the background helping with your production side and all of that, and she does a great job. Usually hollers at me as we're getting your
Yeah.
show on the ground. And then you've got like these play sisters. I was actually talking about one of your play sisters earlier this week because Nick is a big fan of parts of the Middle East. He wants to go visit Morocco, and he's like, I've got to go over there and get to that club that Coco is partially involved with and all of that. So definitely,
Yes.
he definitely wants to get over there. I want to get over there as well
Yeah.
and visit that friend of yours who I consider like a play sister.
Exactly. Fatiha. Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
that play sister. And another one of your play sisters has a show now on the network. And I produced both of her shows. She's doing skits. She's doing all kinds of amazing things. But Tracy is doing some
Tracy
great things with her
Pinkhammer.
show. So the Pinks and Blues show is on the air. The matter of fact, the last episode she was featuring a gentleman who is in construction, and he actually had his own construction company, and they were talking about some of the things with integrity and the things along those lines in the construction business. But she did a whole skit that was hilarious because literally, if you watch the show, you'll see her basically playing what amounts to like maybe her father and everything, being a character there doing the work while she's doing the inspection and not exactly giving a good grade at all of that. But it was a hilarious skit, and definitely, but the conversation was very enlightening and definitely brought you a lot of knowledge about the entrepreneurship business and a lot of the hardships that they face.
See, and that's what I'm talking about, paying it forward, because I just met, Tracy through one of my best friends that's named Tracy. It's like Tracy. And, when she started talking to me about some of the things that she wanted to do, she's like, I see your show, how did you do that? I said, listen, with Dr. Kelly, which it wasn't no long process about, okay, you got 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to prepare. He put me right out there, just throw it in. But what I loved about Tracy Pinkhammer, she had an idea. She knew what she wanted to do. She knew how, she just needed that push and to connect with the right people. And so I am so grateful that she has the show with you. And I'm proud, and I know it's fabulous. I know it's fabulous. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for that. I want to ask you something. A couple of things. I know that you are originally from Rocky Mount.
I was actually, mom lives in Rocky Mount. I was actually born right here in Durham, North Carolina at Lincoln Hospital. So I was born in Durham, North Carolina at Lincoln Hospital, which is the African-American hospital that has a long history and everything along those lines in the early 60s. But I grew up in terms of my teen years and some of my young adult years in a little small town not that far from Rocky Mount called Warrenton. And there my folks decided that they were going to start a radio station with absolutely, you're talking about how you got thrown into the fire. They had absolutely no radio experience at all. Dad had been involved in some of the civil rights stuff here in Durham as well as other places. Mom had been a guidance counselor. They had done some other careers as well. I think Dad had been trained as an engineer at State, but not necessarily as a radio style engineer and things of that nature. So they did not have any radio background whatsoever, but they realized that the jazz station that used to exist here in Durham, I think that was DUR or something like that, it had gone off the air and there was no other real jazz here. Central, which is a great jazz force now, was not even an idea in anybody's mind at that time. And they also realized that not a lot of people were talking about our issues, meaning issues in the minority community. So with, like I said, no background, they were like, hey, let's apply, let's see what happens. So they applied in the FCC license process. And I want to say that it was around the nation's independence time, around 76 or 77, that the station came on the air, and it was on the air for a little bit over 10 years until about and all of that. And there's actually even Wikipedia entries and other entries. If you look up WVSP, you can find out some of that history that existed. But at least on Dad's side, and I would argue Mom's side as well, they got it honestly because they had other entrepreneurs in their family. My granddad and granddad was a deacon at his church and was very much involved in raising different things on the farm, whether that was cows and other things, and definitely tobacco and the kind of plant items that were there as well, and that was up there in, I
Wow.
want to say, Halifax County. So he was doing that and everything. And grandma, and this is all on my mom's side, was a but not a librarian. She was a school cafeteria worker. And then on dad's side, his dad, my granddad, is who the biology building at North Carolina Central is named after, because he was a biologist there and taught there for a number of years, did some work in that science field. I unfortunately did not get to really know him, because I want to say he passed away before I was like even 1 or 2 or something like that. So I did not really get to know him, but I did know my grandmother, and she passed when I was in around in college. So that would have been in the 80s and everything along those lines. But she founded, and I know that you spent a lot of time in Raleigh, she founded the Richard B. Harrison Library, which is that first Black library.
Okay, yeah.
The actual founder of that library. And she realized that there was not enough of library access in terms of books and other things in our community. So she literally went and knocked on different doors, talked to the different leaders, raised money, and then created that library. And there is still a Molly Houston Lee collection over there at Richard B. Harrison Library. And there are some other plaques and other things that talk about her history and her legacy. So definitely I stand in some very big footsteps, and I try to maintain what I can do by whether it's this media outlet or whether it's some of the things that you mentioned that I've done in activism, because I was part of Occupy Durham, and I've worked with the Solidarity Center and other things, and I was even on the fringes, but did help on some levels with the Moral Monday marches that were going on, led by Reverend Barber and other things along those lines, and definitely some other things going on with the MLK celebrations. So definitely, there are things that I am passionate about, whether it's civil rights or whether it's entrepreneurship or whether it's our creative community, because I am a big fan.
Just well-rounded. And I think that we know another mutual friend, when you said Durham, I thought about the Hayti Center, when they had the Apollo there. I can't remember his name.
Captain Newborn. How can you forget Captain Newborn? Because Captain is actually never served a day in the military, from what I understand, and I don't think either his dad or his granddad did it. I think when we had a conversation, he said if you go further down, there might have been some actual military people that were involved in the military, but his name was more like a namesake. But he did develop a passion for our veterans. And we know we just recently went through one of those veteran holidays and everything, that being Veterans Day and all of that earlier in November. But he had a passion for the veterans. He had seen some of the injustices that our veterans have had to go through in terms of the way they are treated in healthcare and the way they're treated by society when they come back, and a number of other things like that. So that being said, he is definitely trying to do his part to help society and to help folks in that regard. So he's definitely trying to help them as much as he can. And I love doing the Road to the Apollo. Met some amazing performers, whether it was you, whether it was Cynthia, who I think we're going to play some of her music later on, or whether it was a number of other folks that appeared on there. Nice Burris was our musician, because we set it up just like the Apollo. We had the Ace of Hearts band. We had a string of, including definitely some folks that you probably knew that were our Kiki Shepherds. So we had different people playing the role of Kiki Shepherds. We had maybe 1 or 2, 3 at the most. Sandman. So if you did bad, they would come out and things along those lines. And then of course I did the hosting, and then of course Captain would come out and we would banter back and forth. So he was also a host as well. So it was just fun. We're hoping that it'll come back once this pandemic gets past us and we can get back to doing more live things. And you mentioned it being at the Hayti. That is where it started at, but then it traveled to other places. We did the Salvation Army. We went down to Kinston. We went down to I want to say Henderson. Yeah, we were in Henderson. We were in Roanoke Rapids. I want to say that we hit maybe about 8 to 10 locations around the state. And we're also, I think Captain was talking to other states as well, so that they could have their own rendition of what was going on, because he had the right to go there and basically have like the right of first refusal, or like carte blanche acceptance. So literally when we would go there, there'd be those long lines that most people be waiting for, whether it's the Apollo, whether it's the Star Search, whether it's whatever. I'm sure those people were looking at us like, well, not me, because I didn't never make that trip, but Captain did. Our good friend Ray did, and he was one of our tech people. And I'm sure they're going like, who are these people and how come they're jumping the line? But like I said, Captain did that arrangement, and we had some success. One of those individuals went on to star in a Tyler Perry show and things of that nature, one of his TV shows. We had some others, individuals that had records that did fairly decent and things of that nature. And I think there were some others that had some local performances. So the success rate was pretty good. I want to say our success rate of people that we sent up there was, I would guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of 85 to 90% actually got to touch the stage, because even though we sent them up there might have been a few that they did not like, but they really felt that we were going to send them the best quality people. So for the most part, if we sent them, they got at least to get into that first round, and some of them made it even further into the competition and deep into the competition. Awesome. And it's all of that. But we love doing that. Hope to bring it back. It's definitely one of my passion projects that I loved, and I definitely hope that it does come back. As a matter of fact, I'm due to give Captain a call in the very near future. I talk to Ray on a regular basis. He's one of the production heads and all of that. So we're longtime friends, because he used to work at the Carolina Theater where I'm on the board of. So he used to work there and has a very deep tech background. And of course, as you know, I work at Hayti. As a matter of fact, next month, because earlier this month before Thanksgiving, we had Black Santa. And Black Santa will be back in December. I think it's towards the end of the month, but
the end of the month.
And we still got the poetry slam going on. We still got artwork going up, and we just did a skate party not that long ago, recently as well, and that was held outside of the Hayti. So things are starting to slowly open up, but of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and people are still wanting to be at least somewhat cautious. So we're making sure that they're masked up. And of course, there even been, I want to say, the last 2 or 3 events we've done, there have been people there that were actually helping folks get the vaccination and things of that nature. So definitely we are trying to do our part to make sure that 2022 is a better year than 2021. And we know
I know. Well, let me ask you this, Mark. And then we have a few more minutes. I mentioned earlier that you're always on Clubhouse. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to everything you do. I don't even know how you have time to do other things, or more or less, run my show, because you're so involved in not only in the social media network, but also, in the community. But when you're on Clubhouse, and I'm thinking it's on Clubhouse or LinkedIn, where you play music, I think you do some. Let's talk about that a little bit. What type of music, or what is that all about? Entails?
No problem. And I've not done it now for a couple of weeks because of the holidays and because of the Black Business Expo. But one of the theories that I've had, and I've kind of alluded to it in this whole conversation, is that we're in the middle of a new cultural renaissance. I think of it as being very similar to Harlem. And if you want to go way back in history, to the Italian and the Greek Renaissance and things like that, where the arts, the sciences, and a lot of things like that are given, I would say, some respect, even though I would like to see our artists like you actually get the money that they deserve and all of that. But I definitely think that we're seeing a new burst of creativity, and a new burst of creativity that has a mission, that is trying to tell not just stories, but also trying to help people in their lives, whether
educate,
that's physically, emotionally, mentally, or however it might want to help them. But I do think that we're in the middle of a new cultural renaissance. So I created this room in Clubhouse called the Cultural Renaissance Room, and it has, historically speaking, and I will try to get back to that schedule probably next week, 3 days of activities. On a Thursday, I'm also a blues DJ. That's why some of my names have blues in them, and I've done that for a number of years. I did it at Central, I did it at my parents' radio station, and I've done it now at WCOM in Carborough. But on Thursday nights, I will play blues music. So the room is dedicated to blues music of all sites. It's of all sorts and types. It's everything from Chicago to Southern Soul, which is very close to R&B, to Texas blues, to the blues from the West Coast, to blues from other parts of the world. So that is what Thursdays is. On Fridays, I do world music, or actually it's just music of all sorts. Even though it's called world music, it might be anything from Italian music to music from Latin America to Indian music to some classic R&B to some classic hip hop to some go-go. It's just whatever is on my mind. And also the people that pop into the room, because I let them help me dictate which way we're going.
Which way to go.
I might have some general ideas of where I want to go, but I also let them help dictate it. I've had some interesting conversations. There was a young lady from Belize, I believe it is, or one of the South American countries. So she turned us on to a lot of music that is Garifania music, which I actually knew a little bit about, which is African-rooted kind of Latin American music in that sense. So she turned me on to that, and we played several songs along that line. There was another young lady that played, that was very much interested in some of that Latin influenced R&B hip hop that was coming out of the New York area in like the 90s and everything. So she
Yes.
definitely had us play some of that music and as everything. And then I've got friends that are in the Native American population. So I've pulled out some of the Native American sounds as well. And then there are just things I might just pick randomly a country in my mind, like Peru. I'll be like, hey, I want to see what the music is from Peru and things of that nature, since there's so many countries around the world. So Friday
and you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching,
and you never know what you'll learn. Both you
exactly
as the DJ doing this and the person curating this, but also the people that are popping in the room, because they might pop in and be like, "Hey, I didn't even know that I like this sound." So I've had people literally pop in and stay for a while because they really enjoyed what they were hearing and all of that. So you never know what people will do in that regard. So I was just glad that happened in that sense. So that was one of the things that happened in that place. And then on Sundays, it's more of a general conversation. So it's really about the Renaissance. It's people having general conversations. I may play music similar to what I've talked about for Thursday and Friday, but it's general conversation. I also may just pull out a book out of my library and start reading that and doing like some narration and everything, because that's part of what goes on. And the books can range from, I read one time Jane Pauley, who was a TV anchor. So I read some of her life story and things along those lines. Another time I read a very intense mystery, well, not mystery, but an intense drama. It's kind of like one of those spy kind of situations where the woman gets herself and the person she's with into some very deep trouble. We won't say whether any of or both of them make it out or not, but they get into some very deep trouble in that whole kind of spy thriller kind of environment. So I read excerpts of that. As a matter of fact, I'm still due to read more excerpts of that, because we left off and the young lady was in some very deep trouble when we left off and everything, and we weren't sure what was going on with the friend that she had come with and all of that. So we're going to see where that goes. And like I said, it's just random books, but random discussions about what people have got on their mind, both in terms of the Renaissance and in terms of life in general. And like I said, the Thursday and Fridays are generally in the evening. You're talking about how busy I'm in. So I generally try to plan them after I've done the shows. So they're generally like around 9 or 10 until around 12 or 1, depending on how energized the conversation keeps me and everything. And then the Sunday one has floated. So it's been in the afternoon. It's also been in the evening. Right now, I'm really liking it more in the evening, but it may eventually go back to the afternoon as well. But right now, they can definitely catch if they just go into Clubhouse and look up the Cultural Renaissance Room, because that is the name of the room, the Cultural Renaissance Room. And they can also look up Club Preacher.
Also, Mark, is when you get a chance, once we finish in a second, I come back on. Make sure your information is running at the bottom there, so they can see, knowing how to connect with you. But I want to ask you something real quick before we go here, because we've been talking about Thanksgiving and what Thanksgiving mean, to everyone. And while those that's watching, make sure you put in the chat what Thanksgiving means to you. But Mark, I just want to ask you, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Well, Thanksgiving actually has two meanings, and it has mixed emotions to me and everything. And I'll explain that in a second. One, to me, Thanksgiving is definitely about family. It's about supporting. It's about getting that support and that love for your family and all of that. But it is definitely a very important part, that part of the Thanksgiving, the family connection, the connection to your spiritual self, your emotional self, and the rest of that. So I definitely believe in that part. Even when my grandparents were living, definitely Thanksgiving was a very important day, particularly on my mom's side and all of that. So Thanksgiving as a family holiday and as a chance to connect with family members and also friends is a very important holiday. But on the flip side of that, I also am a student of history. So I do know some of the history of Thanksgiving as well. So as one that knows that, while we celebrate Thanksgiving, we also have to realize that was part of what led to us not having as large of a Native American population, nowhere near what it would have been, because of the colonial powers coming here and then basically destroying a lot of our Indian ancestors and Indian natives and all of that. So that is the part of the history that I do also pay attention to. I was glad to see that the Redskins actually changed their name. And even my team, when I was at Marquette, they were the Warriors, and they eventually became the Golden Eagles. Now,
the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, the flip side of that is that when they were the Warriors, they did have a relationship with one of the native tribes. So in that case, they were actually doing traditional dance and teaching people about the culture. That I don't have as
Okay.
much problem as I do when I
Let's
see
see.
people that are doing it in a more stereotypical fashion. So I didn't
Right.
even mind when we were the Warriors because I felt that at least they had a relationship with one of the tribes from Wisconsin and things of that nature. And I do have a cousin that travels around the country regularly performing and doing performances around in the powwow circuit. So that's the part
Okay.
of it that I would like us to be more clear about is the real history behind Thanksgiving. So while I'm
Behind,
glad that we have Thanksgiving,
exactly.
and while I understand that, we also need to be reflecting on the history of how the holiday even came about, because we need to think about the smallpox that came to some of the Native American population,
Mm-hmm.
the reason that some of it went down, and things
Mm-hmm.
of that nature, and
Yeah.
also how some of these tribes were very much eradicated and things of that nature. Now,
Right.
the good part of that is that through those arrangements, which is different than our African American population and even our Hispanic population, is they still have sovereign rights. So because that was one thing that was good that came out of it, was that a lot of those populations, whether it's the Cherokee or whether it's the Apaches, they still have sovereign rights, but they still are facing stark poverty in a lot of their areas, stark
And
poverty in a lot of
mm-hmm.
the reservations.
Mm-hmm.
People think about the ones that have the casinos, and yes, there are some that are making money off of the casinos, but there is still a lot of problems around alcoholism and around poverty and other things in terms of even like educational access in
Mm-hmm.
some of the reservations that exist, and even when some of these folks come into the
Right.
urban areas as well. So don't want to get onto the
Yeah.
soapbox too much, but that's some of my thoughts about
Yeah.
it and all of that.
Yeah. And I learned a lot of that as well too, Mark. Even when I was working for IBM, we go out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I got a chance to, really connect with the culture and, visit the reservations and just kind of, talk to them. And it was very a good experience. That's why I think it's very important about education. Educate, educate, educate. Something, and just like you said, you brought up a great point. It's about food and Thanksgiving and giving thanks, but also know the history
Right.
behind it. But our main focus is, for me, is gratitude, giving thanks to God. That's my main thing, giving thanks to God, because He's the center of everything, and allowing, just the peace, the peace, and just keeping us here again. Like we said last year, and I know that you're grateful, Mark, to see your mom and your family, your brothers, and everything, because last year and the year before we couldn't go home for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
So, and then, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people that's not here anymore that was here last year. So we lost a lot of people these last 2 years. So my heart goes out to those families, and I send my condolences, and we're going to, continue to keep them in prayer. To give them comfort, but for you, Mark, when you talk about Thanksgiving and giving thanks, I know that you're grateful, for your mom and your family, and is there any other things that you are grateful for?
Oh, yes, I'm definitely grateful for the opportunities that international broadcast media has given me here on this platform. I'm definitely grateful for other opportunities that are coming about, even the Funky Eye Puppets. I never would have known about that if it hadn't been for the pandemic and doing interviews and then them
Right.
kind of recruiting me into this whole presence. Grateful for being able to help my friend Zach with the things he's doing with his funk music show and the things along those lines. So
Yeah.
definitely grateful for a lot of these things. Grateful for having some tremendous friends. And also, sometimes you have to be grateful for the small things in life. Even during the pandemic, I was paying attention to nature and paying attention to the animals. So sometimes I've got two neighbor dogs, Astro and Louie. So sometimes just hearing them or seeing them can put a smile on my face, or seeing the
Yes.
rabbits that might be around my neighborhood, or even seeing there was a young lady that was, for the second year in a row, planting a garden that featured a sunflower seed that was going up to the second floor. And so definitely just seeing that sunflower seed, seeing her efforts in the garden, and those kind of things can be
Yes.
small victories that can put a big smile on your face, or even just going out into a walk and catching some of the things that nature has to offer us. And definitely thankful
That's
for
right.
having those kind of things as well, because this is an amazing planet that we live on, that God has put here, and definitely we have to pay attention to those small things. And you were talking about being busy. Yes, I am busy, but when I do get that rest and get that sleep, I'm thankful for that as well, because we do have to get rested. And I try to do better with my diet and my eating, even though I'm becoming kind of a fast food warrior. But I am thankful for having access to food, and definitely thankful for the good things that come in that way as well. So definitely thankful for a good meal and all of that.
Yes, thank you, Mark. And I thank you for, taking this time to come on and kind of chat with us so people can get to know you, see who you are, see what's going on behind the scenes. Because again, it's not easy. And for those that's watching, he's working not only on my show, but a numerous of things going on at the same time. And I'm so grateful that God has given him that gift to do that, to multitask. Because some people can't do that. But I thank you and I appreciate you, Mark, for what you do for the show, just guiding me and, helping move the show along, you and Dr. Kelly, for my sister. I'm just so grateful for that because, I know that's all in God's plan. It's God's plan. And so I'm grateful. And I just wanted to make sure I'm walking in the journey and walking beside you and, being able to learn from you. It's priceless. So thank you for all your hard work. The best is yet to come for you. I just know things are going to happen, continue to happen for you. So I take this time to say thank you. And I appreciate you jumping on for a few minutes just to, let the people see Mark Lee. It's like everybody knows Mark Lee. All my guests that comes on the show, most of my guests that comes on the show, especially in this area. Oh, I know Mark. Oh, there's Mark. I'm like, oh, wow. So it's good to be known and that people like you. You understand what I'm saying? It's good that. So I'm happy about that. But thank you again, Mark. I know we're going to wrap it up in just a few minutes. I'm going to say a few more words and then we're going to come back and play you some videos, some commercials and all that good stuff. So any final words, Mark, before we go?
No, I'm getting ready to bounce off, let you have your final words as well. Always glad to be here producing your show. You are a tremendous talent. I definitely consider you to be a wonderful lady and a person that I have a great deal of respect for, not just on your work here on this TV show, but also on your musical journey as well. So I'm definitely a big fan of Coco. Definitely look forward to catching up with you. I know that even our big boss, Nick, has said that he wants to get together on Tuesday again. So who knows, maybe we'll have a chance for you to pop in there on Tuesday as we head into December and all of that. But he definitely said that he is looking forward to having more conversations and finding out ways that he can help the whole process and all of that. So I'm definitely looking
shout
forward
out to him too. Yes, to Nick. Yes, absolutely.
No doubt about it. So I want to shout out to Nick and our other folks. And definitely if folks are interested in learning more about what the network is doing, or if they've got ideas for shows as well, I'm always looking for new shows, both here on this platform, which is the live streaming platform, but also in our radio land of WCOM. So they have also given me some abilities to put some shows there as well. So if you've got any ideas, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. The email is bluesradio@gmail.com. That's bluesradio@gmail.com. And if you've got any ideas or pitches that you want to give me, I would love to hear them. And like I said, definitely looking forward to hopefully getting out more and more in the year of 2022. I did get out some this past year, went to the Fruit for an event. Unfortunately, it wasn't yours, Coco, but I did go to one several months ago and everything. And of course, I've been to a few events at Hey Ty, more than a few actually this year. So I'm hoping that 2022, because one thing that people knew me for was being out and about in the community. And of course, the pandemic kind of stopped that. But I'm hoping that I will get out more and more in this coming year and that folks will see me as they used to in the more traditional spaces, even though we did have some cases of that happening this year, because this year the Eno was actually live and virtual. So they did both a hybrid kind of version. And in the live version, I was there back in July. So I do know that there are some things going on, but there are other events that I do know will be virtual this year, because I'm pretty sure our film festival, both the Full Frame, I'm not sure about Full Frame, but definitely the African American Film Festival that goes on at Hey Ty is going to be virtual. And there are a couple of others that'll still be virtual as well. I think Kwanzaa is going to be virtual this year also. And speaking of the Native American population, they actually did a celebration this year that was strictly virtual. So it was only online, because they often, ironically, they usually do that celebration in November, in the month of November. And it's over at the North Carolina Museum of History. It's over at the North Carolina Museum of History. But this year was a strictly virtual one. So I'm hoping that in November of 2022, we'll be able to see live drumming, because they do the whole Native American drumming as well as different other kind of performances and clothes and things
So what
along
you have
those
to do is you have to let us know. So since we'll be doing the show, if it's coming up in December or January, please just let us know so we can make sure that we can tell the viewers about it, and then hopefully they can see you there too. They can see you there too. So, but thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just want to say to everyone, thank you for watching. You heard it yourself. Now that was a treat for you, for Thanksgiving. Mr. Mark Lee, one of the greatest producers, that I know, he put it out there. If you want to pitch some ideas of something that you want to do, now don't come with no mess now, you guys. Come on now. All right. I'm just keeping it 100. But if you're really interested in doing something and, increasing your network or, starting a show or doing something, please make sure that you reach out to Mark Lee. The invitation was out there to you. So, now it's going to be on you. And again, thank you so much. Like I said, I wanted to just jump on here just to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone, to let you guys know that I love you. Special thanks to all my friends and family, my mom. I want to ask you to keep my Aunt Juanita in prayer. There's so much going on with so many different families. So we just always have to be praying for each other all the time. And as I said, we always give thanks no matter what the circumstances is. So I love you guys. To my friends, Tracy, Tasha, all you guys out there, thank you for being a friend. I love you guys. Next week, I want you to make sure that you tune in. We have, drum roll, Miss Cheryl P. Williamson. Oh my God. Miss Cheryl is an author, award-winning filmmaker, and executive producer. She's a speaker. She's a success coach. She was the keynote speaker for the Shaw University homecoming this year. So this lady is phenomenal. And you know what I love about her? She's a busy lady. I mean, and she's up there in status, and she always find the time to watch the show or comment on the show. And she don't have to. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for that. So thank you, Cheryl. I am looking forward to you speaking to you on next week. But I want to leave you with this. As I always say, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Happy Thanksgiving to Missioners Grove Baptist Church, my home church, ASAL Community Church, Pastor Rodney Johnson, and also to my pastor and First Lady, Pastor Melvin Jackson and First Lady Jackson. I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to all. We're going to leave you with a couple of commercials and a video. I love you. I'll see you next week.
It's time for you to start bossing in social media. For all your social media needs, you've come to the right place at the right time to get your website designed, landing page, social media platforms, and get the training you need to get in front of the people that's ready to buy your products and services. Let me train you with StreamYard, Zoom, Clubhouse, and much more. And let me help you get your virtual professionals, not assistants, because assistants can only assist you, but the virtual professionals can give you that professional flavor that you need to expand your reach and increase your revenue. Jump on in and get in where you fit in and start boxing today.
Are you looking for money-saving strategies for your business and personal finances? Are you tired of working hard every day with little or nothing to show for it? Contact Prosperity Financial Services, LLC right now for your free financial consultation. Call now to reserve yours today, 804-349-8600, 804-349-8600.
Yes, I did. Man, I got my good sweat on. Man, that was an awesome game. And Tracy, your game has picked up, girl. Your game has really picked up. Yeah. Yeah, you see my backhand? I got my backhand going. Got my backhand going now. Yeah.
That's what I get confused about is the kitchen part. Okay.
backhand too, girl.
Yeah.
Got some drinks having the cookouts. Might be a little drink.
Nah, I'll pass, but thank you.
Okay.
I'll pass. I'm good.
So see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good one.
Yo, Cynthia! I got it.
What's going on, man?
All right, how's it going?
Man, it's doing good.
All
Going
right.
good, man.
Look,
Yeah, we got it.
We got it.
We
Look.
got it. Yes,
All I need you to do is
All
sign right
right.
here.
Sign right here?
Look,
All right,
and
cool
they
deal.
love you. They love you.
All right.
But-
But,
Just one thing.
but,
It's
what is
small.
the but?
It's not big.
All right.
You can't say anything about Jesus Christ.
What?
You can't.
Oh, no. Oh,
Come
no.
on, Cynthia.
Oh, no.
Listen,
Oh, no.
we
Oh,
got
no. You know I have Jesus all in my lyrics.
Cynthia, this is just the
No.
beginning.
No.
Just this time. Just sign
No,
right
can't
here.
do it, Will. Can't do it. Can't do it. I won't do it.
Listen, they
I
love
will
you,
not
Cynthia. They love
sugarcoat
you.
my lyrics for anyone.
They love you.
I don't want to hear
This
it.
is just the beginning.
Read my lips. I don't want to hear it. If
Just-
I can't carry the crossover, if I cross over, then I don't want to cross over.
They
Okay?
love you, Cynthia.
No,
They
no.
love you. I'm
I can't
telling you,
do
they
it.
love you.
No, it ain't that important to me. It ain't that important to me.
Just look at
No,
it.
I'm out. I'm done. I'm out.
Just sign.
No.
Please.
I'm done.
Just
Will.
look at it.
I don't want to look at it.
Please.
Matter of fact, let me tell you what I can do with this right here.
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Horns, let me hear you.